Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I have a fantastic comedian named Cara Amore. Cara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I feel like a woodpecker in a lumberyard. That's how giddy I am, Cara.
I love
That's
it.
how giddy I am to have you here.
I appreciate that. I'm pretty giddy being here too. So
Are
sorry
you?
I'm a little
Well,
delayed.
Cara, I'm gonna guess, but I have to do it. You probably know what my first question is.
Hmm. Is that your real name?
Along those lines, Cara Amore, I'm gonna bet that the minute they hear Amore, Dean Martin starts coming out of their mouth.
That's right. Or yes, Dean Martin. Or if they don't, they get my name wrong. Like they'll say Cara Amore. I'll say no, it's Amore. Like when the moon hits your eye, like a big
The
pizza
big piece of
pie.
pie. I thought about it. If my name was Scott Amore and people come up, I'd say, if you mention Dean Martin or start singing that song, I'm going to punch you in the nose.
It's so funny because a lot of people get that song and Volare mixed up.
Oh,
So they'll
really?
start singing to me Amore, but in the tune of
Valare.
Volare.
Well, Kara, let's start from you're in Connecticut, right?
I am, but I just recently moved here.
That was going to be my next question. Were you born and raised in Connecticut? No. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York,
Okay.
and I was raised in Long Island in a town called named Baldwin.
Okay. And so now you just moved to Connecticut how long ago?
About 16 months ago.
And do you like it there better than, in other words, is this like, the best, this is where you want to be?
So I'm extremely happy. My quality of life has gone up tremendously,
Wonderful. Wonderful.
and I came here because I fell in love.
Oh, God bless. That's wonderful. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
You got Amore.
I got Amore, baby.
That's wonderful. Well, let's talk. I have a lot of stuff written down here. You're the owner partner of Recover the Laughter. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. So we are a recovery comedy. There's two of us, and I guess we've been doing it. I think it's got to be 13 or 14 years.
Okay.
And we, before the pandemic, because
Okay.
everything kind of changed,
Right.
before the pandemic, we used to go to a different rehab every Sunday and bring laughter to them in alcohol and drugs rehabs.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the young lady that I did the premiere just at noon today, and she was in Hawaii. And just like you and I, we've never met. So, in
Right.
other words, just like you and I, we're 2 minutes into the conversation. And I said, how did you end up in Hawaii? And she told me that she was going through a rough patch
Mm.
and she heard the volcano was going to go off and she was going to jump in the volcano.
Wow. Holy moly.
I don't mean to laugh at that, but it's like I immediately was like, "Oh my God." But recover the laughter. That sounds like, thank God she recovered the laughter.
Yeah, amen. My goodness. Well,
Otherwise, she'd have jumped in the volcano.
yeah, I will say that so many of the people that we would bring laughter to, and especially the counselors who didn't really understand,
Right?
people always say, comedy is the best medicine, but they don't realize what an impact it has on somebody who's in rehab, recovering from something so
Yeah.
traumatic,
Yeah.
and we usually got the point across because their patients for hours and hours and hours, maybe a day or so after we left, they were so full
Right.
of,
Right.
serotonin and
Yeah.
endorphins that, you know, they could see the positive impact it had.
Yeah. For me, laughter is Robin Williams used to say, laughter is the enema of the soul. And I believe
Interesting.
that, I don't know about you, but man, when I see something or people make me laugh, I love people that make me laugh.
Mm. I love people who make me laugh, and I also love making people laugh. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
greatest
I'm just not
energy.
very good at it. Look at that. There I did it. Hell, I didn't even try.
That's awesome.
Well, I have here, okay, besides recover the laughter, I don't want to bounce around too much because I have so many questions. Um, when did you start doing comedy? Let's start with that one. When did you start doing comedy?
I started in 2003,
Okay.
but I didn't continue like consistently, and I'll
Okay.
explain that. Um, and I started because a friend of mine, um, who I adored, he was a mentor for me in my business.
Okay.
I did promotional products like hats, pens, t-shirts,
Okay.
and I was in that business all those years ago. And he was a great mentor. He was like a dad, and he got really sick. He got
Okay.
pancreatic cancer. But he was the kind of guy who like lived with no regrets. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like he
Yeah.
would get on a plane to go see a client, or he'd take his family away anyway. And I felt like, when I was at he passed away, and when I was at his funeral, and everybody talking about that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do comedy because I would regret not doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and when you mentioned that, I didn't want to bring it up, but since you said 2003, I like to do a lot of research before I do these. I don't like to come on. I like to show respect to my guest. And so I went on YouTube and I found a couple videos from like 14 years ago.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I thought was very interesting, you won the Bud Light, what is it, Ladies of Comedy in Atlantic City.
So the gentleman who introduced me got it all wrong.
Is that right? Oh my God. And of course I pick up on it. Yeah, my
you
God.
know it's okay. I actually won in Long Island, and then we moved on to, like, because they do it in a lot of different clubs, all over. And I was like, the new, one of the new comics who won her category and then moved
Oh,
on.
well, at least I don't feel that damn
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah,
I don't
you
feel that damn dumb for bringing it up. But no, I love those sets. And I kind of looked down, I said, 14 years ago. So you did it you started in 2003. And let's do this. Let's go this way. What was your first gig like? How was that?
Well, I took a class at Governor's in Long
Okay.
Island
Okay.
with John Truson, and he got you prepared for the graduation, which is
Okay.
really like your first show.
Okay.
They help you, develop jokes for like, I think it was either
Right.
5 or 7 minutes. I don't even remember.
Okay.
And then luckily, I had a lot of funny people in my class, a lot of funny
Okay.
people.
Right.
And so they ask you to invite all your friends and family to the graduation.
Right.
And we had a packed house. It was like, it seats like 300 or 250 or
Okay.
something. The house was packed. So my first show was amazing because everybody, was so
Yeah.
happy to
Yeah.
be there.
Real good crowd.
Yeah,
So I guess then moving forward, you did it for how long and you stopped?
yeah.
You-
So I did it
Right.
for, um, so 2003, my son was 2. I did it for like consistently. And when I say consistently, like anywhere they'd let me put a mic, I put a
Yeah.
mic.
Right. Right.
Anytime anybody give me stage time, I get, I didn't come into this young, Scott. I didn't start until I was 35.
Okay.
So, but my son was very young, and he had, but when he went to school, when he finally went to school, he had a few, um, difficulties with ADHD, and,
Right.
and he really needed a mom more than he needed a road comic.
Okay. All right. I get it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then you went back. Tell me about when you went back, when you started back doing comedy again.
So, and I was trying to figure out when so it's at least 14 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. So that was the stretch. I am in recovery. I'm sure you read that somewhere. I'm not very secretive about it. And
That's
I,
fine.
I've been in recovery for the last 33 years.
Okay.
Got sober when I was very young. I was 2. um, and I met somebody in the rooms who asked me to come on to a recovery show at a rehab. And I
Okay.
met the other comic who became my partner at that
Okay.
show.
Okay.
And he said, we should do this. And I said, yeah, let's do this. And that's how I got back in.
And how long ago was that?
Um, I want to say that was like 14 or 15 years ago. Yeah.
Well, now I'm confused, Cara, because you said that you stopped for a while. So you've been doing it longer than 14 years.
Well, I stopped for it. I would start, stop, start, stop, but I
All right.
always was consistently doing the rehab shows.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I got
Uh,
it.
and
Well,
I would,
I looked at your schedule, and just so I can mention it here, and I will put all the links on there. I know you're on Instagram, Facebook. Do you do TikTok?
I don't do, I mean, I did a few things on TikTok. I
Yeah,
mean, I will bring it back up. You know,
I don't do. They offered me to come and do videos for them, and I won't do it.
yeah,
I don't want anything to do with it.
I hear you.
No
Yeah.
China, no spy balloon, no COVID. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I
I
love the
love it.
food. I love the food.
Yeah, me too.
As for the Wuhan special, when I call in, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. I'm with you on that one.
No, I won't do TikTok.
No.
If it ever gets sold to the US, maybe, but I just, and I always say this, and I don't want to be too, we're obviously very serious. I don't know where the comedy's at in this damn thing, but no, and I'm kidding. It's fine. Um, I just, I don't dislike the Chinese people. I just dislike what China stands for and
Yeah.
treat, that's what
And
I
what they
say.
did. I
Right.
agree with you. I agree with you
Well,
100%.
okay, so we've established you've been doing comedy a long time, and I looked on your Facebook page because I didn't know you had an Instagram. So today I found you and I searched you up, and you have a pretty busy schedule. You're hitting the road, pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, so when I made the decision to come back, especially after I moved here, I mean, it's only
Okay,
16 months ago, but, you know, we had a house we were renovating and
right,
really had to get that under the control.
right,
And then I'm not networked in Connecticut. I was a New York, Long Island comic for many,
yeah,
many years.
right,
And so, and then, I was hitting the road, being booked, you know what I mean? So it
right,
wasn't
yeah,
like I was part of this. So I made the decision that, you know what, if I'm going to get networked, I better start making contacts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I'm finding, and I don't know if you'd agree with this or not. I don't know how many of these now, but there are stand-up comics, and then there's the Instagram, TikTok, we make videos people.
Yeah.
And I actually, I keep them separate because I more admire this. I grew up on, I met Rodney Dangerfield, Henny Youngman. I grew up on that kind of humor.
Young men.
And I don't want to say I don't like it,
No.
but that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I like witty people. I love Stephen Wright. I got to meet Stephen Wright,
Oh,
Lewis Black. I had a conversation with George Carlin. I actually talked to Bob Saget.
yeah.
I love stand-up comics.
Yeah.
And so you don't do any of that? You're just pretty much a stand-up comic?
So during the pandemic, so
Yeah.
I'm a trained chef. I don't know if you read that
No,
too.
I didn't.
Um,
Well,
so
you are a lot of things. I got some stuff written down here, but okay. I have clean eating enthusiast. Well, hell, you and I, there ain't no way that happened.
yeah.
But anyway,
Um,
go ahead. You were a chef. You were a chef. You're a trained chef.
Yeah. And so during the pandemic, I met another comic. His name is Fat Jay.
Okay.
He's
Aforementioned.
amazing. And he also was trained as he didn't
Okay.
really pursue it. He did it for a little while. And we put together a cooking comedy show called Chewing the Fat with Cara and Fat Jay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
So,
where is that at? So people
oh, it's
can,
gone because, the pandemic was over because we were stuck inside and we had to talk to people.
but it's not up anywhere on YouTube or Instagram or
It might
anywhere.
be. I could send you the link. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
would
should
love
be
to.
on
I would like
YouTube.
to. And know this, Kara. I'm going to put the links to your Instagram, your Facebook, well, all your shows, everything, because I'm here this is all about you. This isn't about me.
Thanks. I
That's what this
appreciate
is
that.
about. It's your comedy minute. I want it to be about you. I want you to do the talking.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that stopped. But I mean, I also have here because you also have Labrador written down. I'm guessing you like dogs.
I love my dog. He's a yellow lab.
Okay.
His name is Fillmore.
Fillmore,
Fillmore.
how
And
did
the
he get
reason
that
we
name?
gave him that name is because uh, I was a private investigator for many, many years.
Jesus God, man. Is there anything you haven't done?
No,
Jesus God.
no.
You're a chef, a private investigator, a comedian, an actor. Good, Googa Booga.
I know.
I think I'm gonna change your name to Sybil.
They say people always say that if you're a master, if you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. But that was only the first part of that quote. That
Right.
was actually not meant to be negative because they believe the more diversified you are, the more you bring to the table.
Well, you bring a lot to the table. And hey, and not only do you bring it to the table, it's well cooked.
That's right. You'll enjoy your meal.
Well, good. We got some laughter going. Do you have like a favorite show that you've done after all these years that you hold on to one that you will remember forever?
Um,
Or let's go the other way. Do you have a show, because I've done a lot of these and I've had comedians say that they got, the person come up to the stage and,
yeah.
any of
So
that
some
happen,
of my one of my favorite, I guess it was like I did 10 days in Atlantic City when
right?
I was first in, and I met the most wonderful headliner. He was from the South, and we were all both in Atlantic City.
Do
His
you want
name
to
is
mention his name?
Mo Alexander,
Mo Alexander, okay.
and he's wonderful. So if you're looking, you should definitely
We'll
interview
mention him.
him.
We'll mention everyone you mentioned, everything that you talk about. We'll
Yeah,
mention in the
yeah.
description.
And he was so gracious,
Okay.
and kind and
Okay.
just amazing. And we had the best 10 days in Atlantic City because
Okay.
people think being on the road is so glamorous, and it's boring, and it's isolating. And he made it so much fun.
Well, having worked in the music business, like let's say I was with Dave Matthews Band or ZZ Top or whatever, I worked about an hour and a half. I had to get there early to make sure everybody had their tickets and passes. Then I didn't do anything till the show,
Right,
or I did a quick meet and greet. Then after the show was over, I worked for, and then there's nothing till the next night.
right.
It's like a circus.
Yep. Well, you
And
think
you're
about it,
right.
comedians, if we do two shows,
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing maybe a half an hour at that point. He was doing 45 to an hour. So, um, yeah, what did we work? An hour a
An
day?
hour, and then you got 23 hours till the next one.
Yeah, that's
Or
why
if you, like you said, if you did two shows, then you got a few
yeah,
hours. But
but then
yeah,
you better be writing.
I don't think people really appreciate it until you've been on the road. And I said the other day to somebody, I've been in like 30 of the 50 states.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this question. Do you find it different? Like, for instance, I use the analogy when I went to North Carolina and I never heard the word fixing before. Ain't nobody fixing do nothing quick, buddy. What fixing? Or they would call me a Yankee. Where are you from,
Yeah.
boy? I'm from York, Pennsylvania. Use a goddamn Yankee, you know? And I just find it amazing where you're at in the country. Do you find that you adjust your Atlantic City versus New York versus Connecticut?
I no, nothing. I haven't adjusted anything for Connecticut. I think it's pretty because it's
Yeah, New
suburban,
York,
just like
Connecticut's
Long
close.
Island. But I do adjust for Long Island to Manhattan because a
Okay,
lot of times when you're in Manhattan, it's all tourists.
right.
So for me to make local
Local New,
references,
yeah,
you
right.
know, um, about like how I grew up and things like it doesn't hit.
Right.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
That's
yes.
the term I've heard a lot lately about your hit. The longer you do it, the more hit, that you don't deliver bad stuff.
Mm. I agree. I do my very best not to deliver bad stuff. That's
No,
been the
you,
hard part coming here is because I'm the new girl on the block, but I'm not new.
yeah. Well, you sent me a video about doing a porno, and that's when I said, "Oh, I got to have this lady on."
The biggest question, I thought that was going to be the question you asked me in the beginning was,
No, I wanted to
is
know
that
about Dean
real?
Martin. I wanted to know about Dean Martin. No, that's an easy one. Go after the porno.
True, true.
I already saw it. I was on Pornhub and I downloaded it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't even know what Pornhub is.
Me neither. Me neither.
Oh, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that one. A name like Amore, you definitely know it. And you probably did make the damn porno. Well, listen, do a couple minutes for me of some of your favorite material if you don't mind.
Yeah. So, um, you know, amore means love. And in my family, there was so much love for alcohol.
Sounds like my family.
Yeah. Other people would leave cookies and milk for Santa. We left beer and pretzels.
Okay.
For Thanksgiving, all we served was wild turkey.
Okay.
And every Arbor Day, my dad would drive a car into a tree. Like, well, now they're going to have to plant a tree. My mother had turned the glove compartment into a wet bar. That woman could make rush hour happy hour.
my my liver's twitching right now. My liver's twitching. There's a bottle of Southern Comfort up there just calling my name.
Amen. That's great. I
I
love
think
it.
that ties it hand in hand with comedy.
Yes, very much so.
When I met Rodney Dangerfield, man, he hey, got any weed?
Yeah, right.
He really
Exactly.
did. He really
Yeah.
did.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I've heard millions of stories. That's actually one of my favorite things too. When we were in Atlantic City, is so many other comics were in Atlantic City at other casinos,
Right.
and we met after. And I was such a new student of the business. I had nothing good. I had nothing to say, and all I did was listen. You know, I had so
Who
many.
was it again? Who did you meet?
Well, I don't know if you. I'm sure you'll know Max Stolcelli.
No, I don't know.
He had done a lot with Rodney.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And then Carl, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his last name, and please forgive me, but I'll remember. But
That's all right.
he started with Sam Kinison.
Okay.
So they were telling stories like, I mean, I couldn't get enough of it, I just
Right.
wanted to hear. And of course, they always talk about Rodney, who walks around in his bathrobe.
That was when I met him. He had two girls in his arm. Hey, fellas, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, he didn't like to wear underwear, apparently.
No, he had two young girls, and I went up to him. I said, "Can I get a picture?" No pictures, no pictures. I'll tell you a joke instead. I said, "All right."
Is that what he did?
That's it. No, do you know? This is all true. I was in Beverly Hills, at the Beverly Hilton. Do you want me to do it? Do you
No.
want me to do what that's more or less. I walked up Rodney. No pictures, no pictures. All right, all right. He's got these two blondes, young 18, 19-year-old girl.
Mhm.
So I'll tell you a joke instead. I said, all right, what's the joke? So the other night, I'm walking down the road. Guy's walking his dog. Dog starts licking himself. I said, man, oh man, if I could do that, he said, well, pet him. Maybe I'll let you. Hey, do you have any weed? That's true. And I did have weed, but I wasn't giving it to him because the prick wouldn't take a picture with
Yeah, I'm not giving him my weed for nobody who's not taking pictures with
me.
me.
You got the premise. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just I love telling stories, and someone like you that has the experience and met a lot of people and done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, I love the stories. Are you kidding me? I can't get enough of them. I could sit all night. I always felt like there was the show, and then there was the show after
So
the show,
after, yeah,
hanging out with the
sure,
guys who did it for
sure.
much longer than me, and telling me all of those great stories. I'm definitely a student of of comedy.
Yeah, I just started 4.5 years ago, and I'm learning as I go.
Yeah. What made you decide to do it?
I got fired from my job for telling jokes.
Stop it. You did not.
You've got good material when the HR calls you in. Well, look, enough about me. We only got a few more minutes, so I want you to do anything else. If you want to do a couple more bits, or if you just want to tell people what you got coming up, I want to make sure we cover everything before we get to your favorite comedy minute. Okay.
Yeah. I I'm going to save the bits. I want people to come see me.
Okay.
That's, I really, and
Well, I
that's
would highly
only,
recommend it. You had me just those couple of minutes you did there. That whole bit about alcohol with your family. Every one of them was gold.
thank you. I appreciate that. And I really feel like, you know, the, the comics keep telling me you have to put stuff online. You have to put stuff online, like you were saying,
Right.
like TikTok and I
Yeah.
feel that, it would take away from the live experience,
Right.
it could do little bits, or
Right.
tidbits, but yeah. Um, but I love the whole live audience experience.
Sure. There's nothing like it.
No, there's nothing like it.
That's why I said earlier, you have stand-up comics, and then you have these TikTok, Instagram, that I just don't. I don't think. Well, I've never done it. I've never done any of those.
Yeah,
All of my stuff is just me. I've done 105 YouTube lives, and they're all just me talking and talking shit.
I love it. Yeah. But remember, it's a different world than what we lived in, when we were
Yeah, I
young.
don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
You sound like my boyfriend. He's
Why? I
like,
don't care.
this is
That's
ridiculous.
not my audience.
Well, mine
Those little bastards look at me. They're the ones that leave me all those rude comments.
is.
Get off the porch, you fat fuck. I'm sorry.
They do.
Stop telling jokes. Go kill yourself. I've heard it all.
Oh my God, how
They hate me.
terrible.
They hate me. I got trolls, man. My trolls are the best.
Isn't that interesting that somebody I feel somebody who has no other life than to watch something that you've done and then comment unkindly is just
Well,
pathetic.
I've had so much of it in 4.5 years, to be honest with you. I don't want to say it doesn't hurt. It does hurt, but yet I kind of laugh at it because I think, I always put it like this, and I don't want to take any more time because we got to squeeze in your comedy minute. But I'm not talking about Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I'm doing jokes. And if this riles you up that much, me doing a joke, I can't help you.
No,
You need to move.
I
You need to move
agree.
back from the microwave when you're cooking. Get
That's
back,
well, and
back up from that microwave a little bit.
the whole cancel culture,
It's
like
all
can't
bullshit.
say certain things is very difficult for me.
Well, you can say anything you want. You just got to deal with the ramifications.
Well, yeah,
I don't. Like I said, I don't care.
yeah.
I don't have any sponsors. Maybe if I get some sponsors and they're paying me,
That's right. I don't know. Do you
okay.
know who Carol Montgomery is?
Yeah, I do.
So years ago, I met her when I first started, and I tend to often I can be a little on the blue side, and
That's okay.
hence the porno. And some of the club owners weren't that crazy about it, and she said, "Don't change who you are
Yeah.
for anyone. You need to be authentic, and if they don't want to book you, okay, but eventually they'll come around because you'll be too funny that they won't want to miss
Kathy
out."
Ladman. Have you ever heard of Kathy Ladman?
Of course, absolutely.
Kathy Ladman gave me that advice.
Yeah.
I shouldn't name drop. Tom Hanks told me not to do that. Um, Kathy Ladman and her mother had passed away. And at the time she was on Twitter or X. And somehow I sent her some stuff and she actually thought it was funny, which
That's nice.
good Lord. And so we conversed back and forth. And I said, "Do you have any advice for me, Kathy?" I mean, for those of you that don't know, Kathy Ladman, Tonight Show, been around a long time, was on
Yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And Kathy said, "Scott, just be true to yourself. Don't, and unfortunately for me, I've lost a lot of friends, my family. They think I have a vile tongue. You see about doing blue material. I do some of the worst. I mean, I do stuff that, I'll do this and I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it. Like, I don't do any like Hitler, Nazi, those type of jokes. I don't do any LGBTQ or STUVW jokes. Uh, but I do love a good rape joke. No, and that's a joke. There are no rape jokes, but it's that kind
Really?
of stuff. No, I don't do
I think if you could do a really good rape joke, then you are a master because there's a young lady in the city
no,
who
no.
does a rape joke that is so good, and she does an abortion joke too.
Yeah, no, I've just had some comedians on that do. I can't. There's certain things you got to draw the line in the sand somewhere. I do. I got a feeling that maybe you do some bluer material than I know.
No, I mean I don't have a rape joke. I don't have an abortion joke, but I mean pretty much everything else is up for grabs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much throw caution to the wind. And a lot of it, like on my live shows, when I have, Southern comfort in me, and by the end of the show, I'm telling them, okay, I'll do one more joke. And the following week they're going, you never told the last joke, asshole. I got so crinkled up. But
Well, crinkled up is a funny way to say drunk.
that's pretty much what happens.
You're like an accordion.
Yeah, I woke up one time. I just told this story recently, and I'm sorry I keep dominating things here, but it's true. My sister came back from a trip and she brought all these little airline bottles of tequila, and they had little worms in them. And I ate two or three. I drank the bottles and ate the worms. Hell, I woke up in the side yard in my underwear
Nice.
with mud all over me. I turned into Worm Boy.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a quick one too. So the reason why one of the big things I did when I started comedy was I talk about what my recovery and what it was like my first or last, or the reason why I got sober, and I talk about how my last drunk was New Year's Eve 1990,
Wow,
and I woke up January 4th, 1991.
wow,
Yeah,
that's a bender.
I had a
That's a
4 day
bender.
blackout. Yeah,
Wow, four
yeah,
days.
4 days.
Damn,
Well, and
damn.
I woke up next to somebody I didn't know,
Oh, good
and I was like,
Lord.
"Who the fuck are you?" It's like, "Who am I? We just spent the last 4 days together." I'm like, well, it couldn't have been that good. Get out.
Oh my God, you're a pistol.
Well, he said, "This is my place. How about you go?"
Yeah, that would be my luck. Well, listen, I got to tell you, you are just, I wish we had another hour to spend. I'll tell you honestly.
Me too.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's make a pact. We'll do another one of these, in a month or two. We'll check back in and see how you're making out.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I would love that because and I hate when I do it. I always say, I watch these back. I talks too damn much, and I really want to make sure. But it's kind of a slippery slope because it is my show. I should be the host and do some talking, rather than just have somebody, going on and on.
I agree. I think
Yeah,
it's a good back and forth.
yeah. That's conversation these days. Kids today are just on their phone. That's why I hope to, like I said, I'm just doing what I think is right as far as comedy and conversation, and I'm hoping that other people will enjoy watching these.
I definitely think that it's a great concept, Scott.
Well, thank you. Well, let's do it. It's time. You know what time it is,
I
right?
do.
Okay, your comedy minute with Cara Amore. Go ahead, Cara.
Okay, so I know you're going to think that I'm going to talk about comedy and like, the best show I ever did or
No, no.
yeah. My favorite comedy is when people find out that my favorite movie ever
Okay,
is Animal House.
right.
And you look at me and you would think that woman, what? She wouldn't like Animal House. Like she looks like she drinks wine and drives a minivan, you know? And my favorite scene from Animal House is when John Belushi comes out of the frat house as they're cleaning it out. And he's like, they took the bar. They took the whole fucking bar. And I like could feel his pain.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God. That's one of my favorite. And then of course the scene when they're in the cafeteria
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
See
food
if you
fight.
can guess what I am now.
Yeah, yeah.
A zit, get it?
Yeah, I love the one line that the guy says, 8 years is no years, 8 years is no way to end up fat, drunk, and stupid or something.
That's right. Yep,
Yeah, I love that line.
me too.
My favorite movie of all time is Harlem Nights.
Oh, that's a really good
Have you
one
ever
too.
seen Harlem Nights? That
Sure.
movie, and you know, I'm not proud to admit it, but I know every line from the very beginning to the very end.
Wow.
I know every line. I've
Wow,
watched
I'm
that many
proud of you.
times. Pardon me?
I'm proud of you.
Well, it's a lot of great stars. Red Fox. Oh, Red Fox.
Oh, I know.
I'm Betty Snake Eyes Wilson. I'm doing this shit for 40 years. I can call it nice before they stop rolling. Love it. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to stop the recording. We're making a pact that we're going to come back and see each other in a couple months.
Absolutely.
Okay. But I'm going to stop the recording. I thank you so much for being here. But I want to hang out with you for a few minutes, off the record. Okay.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much, Cara. I really had a great time.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.